This is Pass the Rock.
Welcome back to the final installment of this week's Pass the Rock.
That's too bad. For the last 30 minutes, I've just been recording my own face. That's annoying.
Oh, okay, yeah.
The dark side of the Force is a pathway to many abilities some consider to be unnatural.
Look around. I see a lot of new faces. Shut up! Which means a lot of you have been breaking the first two rules of Fight Club. Man, I see in Fight Club the strongest and smartest men who've ever lived. I see all this potential, and I see it squandered. God damn it, an entire generation pumping gas, waiting tables, slaves with white collars. Advertising has us chasing cars and clothes, working jobs we hate so we can buy shit we don't need. We're the middle children of history, man. No purpose or place. We have no Great War, no Great Depression. Our Great War is a spiritual war. Our Great Depression is our lives. All been raised on television to believe that one day we'd all be millionaires and movie gods and rock stars, but we won't. We're slowly learning that fact. We're very, very pissed off.
He gets some mail! What the Rock is cooking!
So San Francisco's going to the Super Bowl is what you're saying.
No, I don't even think they're going to win their division, which leads us to division predictions, baby. Let's get into it, shall we, fellas?
Yes, I have the odds up. I'm ready.
All right, you have the odds up. I, right now, just have the divisions up.
Now, I have the odds for the exact order, which is a weird way to bet in my mind, but I don't gamble, so...
It's convoluted.
That's fair.
Yeah.
So you'll be my odds guy. I just have the teams right in front of me. I'm going to start with the NFC South, go to the West, finish off with the North and the East, because those two divisions are the ones most relevant to us. So with that said, fellas, I'm going to start with who I think is going to win the NFC South and kind of how I think they're going to finish out.
This is the butthole conference, right? Or the division? Yes.
Now, just for the end of the season kind of like reflection to see who had the most correct, I want to know your guys' opinion, right? You guys just want to go by who we get the division winners, or do we want to go exact, like, he got every division right in terms of, like, where they place?
No, there's no fucking way.
Okay, so we'll just do... Okay, so we'll do winners for, I guess, the punishment? To see who got the most wrong at the end of the season? But for this... segment, we're just going to go ahead and predict all 16 teams in the NFC like we did last week. All right, so we're going to start off with the NFC South. I'm thinking, fellas, it's going to be the Atlanta Falcons.
Are you saying we're going to sit here and try to rank each division?
No,
all four.
Not rank each division. I think we'll just go by teams, and you can throw in how we think it might end up in general, but
I'm competent enough to pick a division winner. That's about it.
That's fine. So, and we can do that. And
maybe
I'll
even
just,
the division loser.
That might be as far as my knowledge goes for most of these.
That's fine. We'll do that. We'll do division winner and loser, and then I can just chime in on how I think the rest of the division will go, and we don't have to go in depth about it. We can just kind of skim through it. But for the NFC South, I got the Atlanta Falcons. I think that offense is ready to take over. As long as Desmond Ridder doesn't get in the way, if he is just Captain Checkdown and he just gets the ball to where it needs to be, which is in the hands of Drake London and Kyle Pitts, and then let Bijan go to work. All right, if he does that, I think that this is a team that is ready to take the next step in a very weak division. All right. I think the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are going to be the worst team in the division, and you got the Saints and the Panthers battling out for the middle. So my pick is going to be the Atlanta Falcons. Fellas, what say you?
Yeah, I'm going to the Falcons because I just went to the depth chart because I was feeling similar to you. They have the bare minimum that you kind of need to be reliable. And then I really was sold when I realized their backup quarterback is Taylor Heineken. I'm like, oh
Yes.
yeah, even if Ritter fucks up, you can squeeze out a fucking division with Heineken. We already know that. He's just good enough to not lose you games.
There we go.
I think
So
the
you
Falcons
got.
are.
Go ahead.
You have the Falcons, Bethke?
Yeah, I think Falcons. Although Saints, I do kind of feel like I'm
Yeah, I was just gonna say I think the Falcons are a year away. I think the Saints are gonna just grab their last one here for a bit before before they might recede for a good while again.
I just think that's a team that's has quickly depleted in talent, and I just
For sure,
I don't.
I just think the Falcons are just like a little too young still. But I don't mean it's
I
one
mean,
of
it
the
was
tougher divisions I think to get. I think it's one of the more open divisions in general as to who's gonna not even first or second. I think the whole top to bottom, maybe outside the Bucks.
Panthers
yeah,
can fuck
even
around for sure.
yeah, the Panthers can fuck. Anybody, well, I think anybody except Tampa, can win this
Yeah.
division. But the thing with my doubt in the Saints is just that this team has lost a lot of key players over the years. Their best receiver, slant god Michael Thomas, just can never seem to stay healthy. So it's just Derek Carr and Chris Olave, and that's really it. That's really all they got going in terms of the passing game. Alvin Kamara, we just don't know what's going to happen with him. Is he going to bounce? Is he going to have a bounce back year? Are they going to do anything on defense? I don't know. Derek Carr seems to always play to the level of the talent around him, and I don't think there's a lot of talent around him in New Orleans. There's still some key pieces, yes, but everything else in the middle, in terms of depth, has just kind of been withered away due to their cap situation. So that's why I personally wouldn't pick New Orleans, but they could still win it. It's not exactly a tough division. So, Patrick, you got New Orleans down?
Yeah, I mean, it was. I feel like as of much of a toss up as it could be, I just went ahead and picked the quote unquote favorite according to these odds I'm looking at.
All right. So in the NFC South, we have myself, Becky in Atlanta,
and one Saint.
And one Saint. All righty. Let's move on next to the NFC West. All right, fellas. Like I said, I kind of already said this. I don't have the 49ers as the winners of this division. But here's what I will say. I think the winner of this division and the second place team will have the exact same record. It's just one team will have a tiebreaker. I think the Seattle Seahawks and the San Francisco 49ers both end at around 11-6 this season, with Seattle getting the tiebreaker. And the reason I'm saying this is I just think Seattle is a sneaky good team. They have the better quarterback. I think they have the better overall receiving core with DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett, and then Jackson Smith and Jigba. It's a team that's dedicated to the run. And I don't know, you got Pete Carroll in there. And Bethke, you and I, we've seen Pete Carroll in Head Coach Fight Club. This man's a menace. He shouldn't be slept on because of his age. I think he still's got the juice as a coach. Maybe even the juice as a fighter. But I just think the Seattle Seahawks are going to surprise a lot of people. Their defense, that secondary, I think is young. It's talented. There's a lot to be had in terms of their defensive line talent, and who knows what their linebacking core is. But if anybody can get the most out of them, I think it's Pete Carroll. And that's why I got the Seattle Seahawks winning the NFC West with the San Francisco 49ers as like the top wild card, if not the 6th seed. Because whoever finishes second in the NFC East, I believe is going to be the top wild card. Because the NFC runs through either the Dallas Cowboys or the Philadelphia Eagles.
What I wonder if there's any validity to the rumors about them not being able to agree to terms with Bosa. Because that kind of influences my opinion. If Bosa's good, they extend Bosa. I'm picking the 49ers without a hesitation. But there is a little bit of worry that I've seen that the 49ers haven't got that deal done and that they might be sending him off like they did DeForest Buckner. That
So I'm
feels
thinking
wild. That feels
feels
wild.
wild.
But I've seen 49er fans speculating on that themselves, which makes me curious about
At some
it.
point, they have to get back on top of the Capitol.
Yeah. So I'm going to stay 49ers because I do stubbornly believe that they just do the bare minimum to win football games, like to manage football games and give them chances to win, which seems to help in the NFL. Don't turn the ball over, manage the clock. They do those things well. But I do like Seattle.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be
Yeah, I
that
just
one's
don't
gonna be
know.
a two team
Yeah.
division race.
I'm going to stick with 49ers for Grandpa.
Yeah, and I just don't know if I buy into the Geno Smith renaissance being a long term thing. It could be, but it's just only been 1 year, so I'm just gonna go ahead and not bank on it just yet. I'd like to see him do it. I just don't know that. I don't
I
know
think
that
it's real,
he's-
man. I think it's real, but
It could
I
be,
understand the
yeah, just-
hesitance.
He hasn't earned my trust just yet, but I'm happy to watch him and let him earn it back.
It'd be
But
nice to
I'm
see.
probably just gonna have to pick the 49ers, just out of. I just don't know that anyone else. The Rams and Cardinals aren't going to do anything. So if it's not going to be Geno, then it's got to be whoever the San Francisco's got under center.
And on the topic of the Cardinals, did we see what the odds are for their win totals?
I've got them at
3.5.
I was gonna say I got their odds to win the division at plus 2,900.
Yeah, those are
which is,
some.
I
think
see,
far and away the word.
I see the team tank, and I want to buy in on them hopefully trading Buda Baker. Personally,
I see 12
Still gotta
other
see it
odds or variations of how the division could fold before they list Arizona as finishing first.
Yeah,
that's great.
It's the least likely thing to happen in the NFL this year.
Beautiful. All right.
I mean,
let's
you can
go
get that
on.
at plus 9,000. And if you want to get crazy and follow your opinion that the Seahawks will finish better than the Niners, you can get that for 1,500.
Oh,
You get there. No, you got to pick Arizona to win, and then you have to have Seattle, San Francisco.
No, never mind. I'm good. I'm good. That's a waste of money.
It is an outcome that could happen.
Everyone is 0-0 right now. We have to put that into a consideration.
Sure.
Technically, everyone has the exact same percentages.
Yes, exactly.
Technically.
Who's next,
until
Cesar? Where are we
Until
going?
Thursday.
All right. Now we're going to go on to the NFC North, fellas. All right. This is Patrick's division. But Patrick,
Oh, shit.
I have some news. I don't believe in your Minnesota Vikings. I didn't believe in them last year. I don't believe in them this year. This one was
So it
tough.
sounds like they're going to win the division again then.
They could. They absolutely could, but I just don't see it happening. But I could be proven wrong. But they were just too lucky last season. I expect some regression to the mean, and I think what they went 13 and did they go 13-4?
Yeah.
Yeah, they went 13-4.
Or was it
To me, that's
13-3-1?
13-3-1. That's a team to me
I don't
that like the
remember.
roster, at least to me, looks like a 9-8 roster. And that could very well win the NFC North. I don't think there's a powerhouse in this team.
13-4. Yeah,
This
that's
is crazy.
But I'm going with the Detroit Lions. I'm gonna hop on the bandwagon. They'll probably disappoint me. Only disappoint their fans every season. But I'm just gonna go with what my gut's telling me on this one. I like their offense. Their defense is super suspect, but you could say that about 3/4 of this division. So I'm gonna go and I'm gonna believe in Dan Campbell. I'm gonna believe in Dan Campbell for one season. It's just that last stretch of the season last year where they looked like a real competent football team. I don't think it was a flash in the pan. I think it was real. I believe 6-2 in their last 8, just barely missing the playoffs. I'm here for it. Green Bay Packers. I think they could not easily, but I think they could very well win the division as well if Jordan Love pans out.
Yeah, we
But
have no idea what Jordan Love is yet.
Yeah, we have no idea, right? And it's not like they have a ton of weapons on offense. I think they have just enough weapons to win and ride on their defense, hopefully, for themselves. But if you're a Packers fan, I wouldn't get my hopes up. So Minnesota Vikings, it's again another high-powered offense, but I don't know. I don't trust that defense. That's one of the worst defenses in the league. Patrick, you can attest to that. They can't get any worse, but I don't know how much better they can actually get as well. So I'm picking the Lions on the North. What say you, fellas?
I just wanted to double check
yeah,
this.
so-
The 6
Go ahead.
different ways that Detroit could come out number 1 are all top 10 on these odds for the division, which is kind of incredible. Like all the ones that have Green Bay, Chicago, and Minnesota are sort of buried as the winners, and you just have the Detroit scenarios all stacked up at the top, basically. The first 3 out
they're
of
gonna
4.
get a favorable schedule. I think the wild card in all of it is what Brian Flores is able to do with the Vikings defense. Because if he can even make them halfway competent, then that offense doesn't even have to do near as much as they were forced to try to do last year, and that could go a long ways. And that doesn't mean that I think that they're necessarily a top tier team or anything. I just think it means that the division's weak and they've got the best roster in the division. But yeah, I think they're probably gonna win it, but I am afraid that eventually I'm gonna keep picking all these like people who won last year, and that's not how the NFL works. So who knows? Somewhere I'm gonna get bit, but I just don't believe in the Lions, and I can't until they make me. I've seen so many Lions and Bears teams where at the end of the year we're like, ooh, they ended really hot. They might turn it back around. It's like people who want to buy into fourth quarter quarterback stats when the team's already down by 30. I don't know. But that's just me being a biased hater. And the Jordan Love thing might actually be the wild card. Because who knows what that looks like.
Yeah.
I'm picking the Bears.
Are you really?
Yeah, fuck yeah. I love Justin Fields. And I think all
I
four
do
of these
too,
teams are
man.
goofy as hell. So fuck it. I'm riding with my favorite quarterback in the division.
All right. I mean, he's my favorite quarterback in the division too. But
Hey, it may be
that's a stretch.
irrational, but guess what? That's what dreams are made
wild
of.
card.
I see Justin
right.
Fields as one of those names where in 10 years we're like, you guys remember Justin Fields?
Oh, save that clip.
We'll see.
Save that clip.
We'll see.
Save that clip.
The future
That
of the
guy's
Chicago sports. Come on, he's bringing the Bears back.
The storied history of the Bears quarterback position.
I will not take.
He's going to replace the number 1 overall quarterback in their franchise, Jay Cutler, soon.
Jay Cutler, yeah. Mitch Trubisky.
Mitch Trubisky's like what, third behind Jim McMahon. All right.
Wait, what's the old
how many Nickelodeon valuable player awards did Jim McMahon win?
He won as
0.
many of those as
0.
Super Bowls that Trubisky won. So
the kids don't care about Super Bowls. Kids are watching Nickelodeon.
Exactly.
well, we're gonna shape these kids
And
up.
Trubisky likes to kiss titties. McMahon's not on record as liking to kiss titties.
Oh, I'm pretty sure he is. I'm sure I can find a
not
Jim
officially.
McMahon quote. Maybe not on the internet. I'm sure I can find some wild.
Probably find a
thing.
Vince McMahon quote.
That also
More
sounds like-
likely.
Yeah. Anyway,
And we'll see
all right. So
we'll see him unnecessarily aggressive and
so far, the North has been the only division where we've had actual deviation. Where not one of us, where 2 of us haven't been on par. So that one should be an interesting race to keep a track of. And now, last but certainly no longer the NFC least, let's talk about the East, boys. So this one is going to be a 2-team race. I don't believe in the Giants' progress going upward. I don't think, as we all know, progress isn't always linear. I think this is a step back season for them. You can point to Darren Waller being added to the room of options that Daniel Jones has to throw to. Saquon's back. But as we've seen with the history of both of those players, they cannot stay healthy. And outside of those guys, they don't really have much else. That offensive line is okay, but not great. I don't believe Daniel Jones is an elite quarterback. I don't believe he is like a top 15 quarterback. He might be somewhere between 16 and 20. That can get you a division win in weaker years, but this is not a weak year for the Dallas Cowboys or the Philadelphia Eagles. Obviously, the Commanders have no chance in hell. That is a team devoid of a talent where it matters. Yeah, they have a receiver. They
You look
have
good
some
with Taylor
defensive end.
Heineke, and you lose me.
Fair enough. The quarterback position, I don't even know if they've announced the starter yet. If it's going to be Sam Howell
it's
or Jacoby
Howell.
Brissett.
He's the next.
I think it would
He's
have
the
to be
next
Howell,
Patrick
right?
Mahomes.
I don't know who do they have.
It's
behind him?
it's Jacoby Brissett and Sam Howell as the competition. So not like the most inspiring of
Rough.
yeah, like Jacoby Brissett's a solid backup
Not-
quarterback, but not oh god,
They're no Trey Lance.
that's for sure. Anyway,
Having a solid backup's great when you have a good starter.
It's fair.
that's. But yeah, talking on this one, I've actually spent a lot of time thinking about this one, and just kind of get you guys to where I'm thinking and where my head's at with my prediction. First, I want to talk about my team because I feel like I've talked about a decent amount with the Cowboys, at least during the Trey Lance talk.
There's technically never enough, but yes, go ahead.
Yes, I think this is just in terms of how the Eagles played last season and seeing some of the departures. There's not a ton, right? But Javon Hargrave, that's a big departure. We lost our right guard, so we have a guy by the name of Cam Jurgens stepping in to replace him. He was originally drafted to be a center. Yes, Jurgenov. That's Beth.
Well, it's the name of the lotion. Jurgens.
Jurgens. He is kind of undersized for what they like at guard, so he's an unproven commodity at that position. And then we got to go talk about the rest of the team. So linebacking core, it's completely different. They're hoping that former Georgia great Nakobe Dean takes a step up. He only played special teams last season, and then they don't really have like a great. They're running with 3 linebackers on the roster, 3 real off-ball linebackers: Nakobe Dean, Christian Ellis, and what was his name? That's lets you know how actually good the other guy is. That I don't know his name. I'm sure it'll come to me. But either way, not great, not inspiring. Their safety room, not as good as it was last year with the departure of Chauncey Gardner-Johnson going to the Lions. Marcus Epps going to the Raiders. They are running with either a rookie in Sidney Brown, Tremaine Edmonds, or that's it. That's probably their 2 starting safeties. So not great either. And then you look at their corner situation. James Bradbury had a great season last season. Darius Slay had a great start, not a great finish. Both guys are on the wrong side of 30. So that defense is going to take a step back. Even with the change in coordinator, which I think it's an upgrade, personally, with Sean Desai taking over, I think that side of the ball is going to take a step back. They don't have a punter on the roster. They cut Aaron Sipos, but added him to the practice squad. So that lets you know they don't have faith in him. And he's a terrible punter, by the way. And on offense, I think they're great. I think they're going to be great outside of the question mark on right guard. I think Jalen Hurts takes a step up. With all this said, I don't expect another 13-4 season from the Philadelphia Eagles. I think it's fair to expect them to take a step back as they try to push forward through what's going to be a much more difficult schedule, especially during the middle of the year. Once they get to October, November, it is going to be a murderer's row for the Eagles. So with that said, the way that I think that this division is going to play out, and it pains me to say this, but I think the Dallas Cowboys will get a tiebreaker over the Philadelphia Eagles to finish first. So I have the Cowboys as the winner of the NFC East, with the Eagles being the top wild card in the NFC.
I like it. You're hedging your bet and succumbing to the reality that no one will ever win the division back to back. I appreciate that. That's honesty. I am not going to hedge my bet because that's boring as fuck. And all I want to do is see Philly mad enough to where they're putting batteries in snowballs again. So I'm going to pick the Dallas Cowboys and not waste any more time.
All right. I got you marked down. Patrick, what say you?
I'm gonna do something a little different. So I think that while your two teams are the two best rosters, I think the Eagles experienced something last year that's gonna catch up to them this year, and that is they basically didn't have injuries last year.
Who could forget me?
I hate looking at it like that, but unfortunately, your history says you're right.
It sucks, but that's just like, it's just like, and maybe, they might, depending on who it is, they might still be able to play through it without any problem, but it will be something they'll likely have to deal with this year that they didn't deal with as much last year.
I boasted about them having all 22 starters in the Super Bowl.
To be fair, I feel similarly about the Cowboys, and we had a few injuries last year, but I'm still like, did we have enough? I'm like,
kind of what I was thinking as well, is that the Cowboys are kind of due for one of those years as well. And I want to just go dark horse here. I know that we're not getting value with us just picking, but I'd like to see, I think the Giants squeeze one out just to keep the random NFC East rotation going.
Yeah, I like that. I was interested to see which wild card team you would go with. I think I would go Giants too if I was.
There's no one on Washington outside of
you gotta really be buying the same house stock. You gotta be buying the same house stock, fucking wholesale, brother.
2 years ago, when Rivera was still kind of early there, you might have talked me into him doing something wild and spicy, but not right now. I think the Giants are the better of the three, or the better of the two to pick. But it's not because I think the Giants are at all a better team. I just think that they have enough good players that if things break right and the unlucky things you guys didn't experience last year, that you likely will. One of the two teams likely will gives them a shot. So I want to go out on a limb and take the Giants.
And hey, who knows? Maybe the Commanders finally get used to that fucking defensive line that they fucking tanked for. Tanked for like an all-world defensive line, and it doesn't mean shit.
Yeah, and I want y'all to, and this is part of why I picked the Eagles to finish second. I want you to look at this schedule real quick, right? This is from week 9 through week 15.
First place schedules are no joke when you're looking at them on paper.
Exactly. So you have week 9, the Dallas Cowboys, and I believe that's a home game for the Eagles. They have a bye week. Coming out of the bye, they face the Kansas City Chiefs, who I believe will also be coming out of a bye. So that's the Andy Reid advantage right there. They'll be at Kansas City. They go back home to face the Buffalo Bills. Then they go December 3rd, San Francisco 49ers. Looking to get some kind of revenge for the embarrassment that they faced in the NFC title game. Then back to Dallas. And then they finish this rough stretch against the Seattle Seahawks in week 15. Now, they go week 16 against the New York Giants. So if Patrick's prediction of the Giants being, kind of a contender in the division comes to fruition, then that's even more to add to the fire.
Right.
So it is a very rough way to end the season.
But what's their opponents' combined record right now?
0-0, baby.
Exactly.
But yeah, 0-0. So who knows? They could steamroll through the competition, or they could come back down to earth. We don't know, and that's the beauty of this exercise.
No, honestly, usually I don't like talking about the NFL schedule, but that is fair. The one thing about the NFL schedule I think is more notable than all the rest of the pro league schedules is how hard the better teams get it the next year.
Competitive balance.
Yeah, they definitely they make sure you're playing some people.
It's easier to sort out with the NFL with those few games and stuff.
And then I look at the Cowboys schedule and
how many 3-game series against this good team should you play?
Yeah, the Cowboys have like a tougher could get off to a bad start and then could have a tough ending. But yeah, there's favorable stuff. I would say the biggest favorable thing is the Philly game is early in the season instead of late.
I was gonna say
so those batteries aren't getting thrown at us.
Yeah, I would say this though. The Cowboys' schedule, in terms of like the stiffness of their competition, it's kind of spread out. Like you guys kind of get like back-to-back tough opponents, and then you kind of get a breather, and then back to having tough opponents back to back, and then have a breather.
Hey, every week's a tough opponent when you're playing yourself.
There you go.
And
But
the
yeah,
rest, am I right?
you got the Giants week 1. And Jets.
It's goddamn rigged.
Yeah, you got Giants and Jets in week 1 and 2, but then you get one of the easiest games on the schedule. You get the Arizona Cardinals, who are probably going to start Clayton Tune if you've ever
Fucking
heard
maybe.
him.
I don't know. Fuck that. Kyler Murray he only exists just to be a little dickhead. I feel like he would just show up just play that one game really hard.
Oh yeah, no,
then back to the garbage bin for him.
He's in the. I think he's on the PUP list, so he's definitely not even going to be eligible to play.
Oh, that's an early game.
He should go back to the. He should go back to the A's so that when they move to Vegas, he can be on the team.
Honestly, yeah. I mean, to be fair, if we're talking about future backup quarterbacks of the Dallas Cowboys,
he might have fucked up the bag a little bit on that. I don't know.
Who knows?
Just because.
Honestly, though, someone's going to take a chance.
Come on, bro. Someone's going to ask him to be a backup at least for a little bit.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
I don't know if they'll do that next season though.
No, I'd say next season. Trey Lance has got 2 more years on his deal.
Comes back home just to be the backup.
I don't want Kyler Murray because he said unforgivable things about the team. I'm over him. He's one of those Dallas people.
But Dak talked crap about Romo, and
no, that's okay. That's different. When you talk shit about a player, that's different. He said the Cowboys are bitch ass hoes and they lose all the time, and that might be facts, but fuck him for saying
it. Yeah,
that's fair.
His really successful Arizona Cardinals team.
Yeah, no, that's when he thought he was about to run shit in the NFL, and then all of a sudden he hasn't been talking a whole lot of shit in the last 2 years, has he? Bitch. Allen. That's why you went to Allen, bitch. They don't make real football players in Allen. They make a bunch of. Never mind. Not quarterback. I don't care. Allen does have a lot of good football players. They don't make quarterbacks out of that. Allen is the worst place to come out as a quarterback because I know all you're doing is getting smoke blowing up your ass.
Wait, you could also say that about Southlake. Name a Southlake.
Definitely Southlake.
Pretty much any. Any.
Denton Ryan's where they put out the real factory.
You guys need to deal with it.
True.
Westlake and Austin.
Oh yeah.
Fellas, we are running a little late, so let's go ahead and finish things off with a culmination of months of hard work.
Okay, sorry. I'll let you say all that again. I was going to ask if you're okay with doing AFC next week.
Honestly, I was just thinking about the NFC, since that is the conference that pertains to us the most. But if you guys want to do AFC,
yeah, we can do AFC next week. You know,
that's it. That's what I was thinking. Is we could tackle that next week, and then that way we have full time here for the fights.
Yeah, let's do AFC next week. I'm sure we can breeze through that. But fellas, it's time for Fight Club. Patrick, you know what to do. This is where you play the music.
Pass the Rock presents Cesar's NFL Head Coach Fight Club finale. Boys, give them hell.
This is Pass the Rock.
But anyway, fellas, we're down to the final 4 leading into the title game. Patrick, if you don't mind reminding us who are the final 4 participants, because I know some of these bother you, and that's why I want you to say them out loud.
Ladies and gentlemen, in Pass the Rock's NFL Head Coach Fight Club's final 4, we have Bill Belichick versus Mike Tomlin, and Arthur Smith versus Pete Carroll.
Pete Carroll. The wise sage. Gentlemen, it's been a long, I don't know how many weeks of us doing this segment. At first, I kind of just wanted to do it as a bit, but it took a life of its own. And it's been the highlight of my week, almost every week, thinking of how these fights could play out. And I hope it's been a highlight of the
podcast, mostly.
If only there was like
statistics to anything me and Jacob have done. I just think this is a great bit.
I love a great bit.
We like pitting people up against each other in metaphorical fights.
Yeah, especially when it's a bunch of like middle-aged to geriatric men. But now it's time for us to give this segment its proper send off as the NFL season comes to a head. So with that said, fellas, what side would you guys like to start off with? The Bill Belichick, Mike Tomlin side, or the Arthur Smith, Pete Carroll side? What are we feeling here?
We should probably just go ahead and start with the Tomlin side.
All right. Well, then let's look at our combatants, fellas. All the way through his entire run, Mike Tomlin has fought a fair game. Because he has that dog in him. He has been handing out proper ass whoopings the way that a coach of his caliber should and would. If this was a true IRL fight club. And you know what? I think that the results of these fights would happen in real life as well. And then Bill Belichick, that dirty son of a bitch. Underhanded all the way through and through, just like his entire tenure with the New England Patriots. He has not deviated whatsoever from his strategy, which is how can I exploit the person in front of me? What underhanded tricks can I come up with to get the edge? Now, I think I have an idea of how this could turn out. But as per usual, I'm not hitting leadoff on this prediction. I want that to go to the Honorable Patrick. Please, hit leadoff on this one.
Ooh.
How do you foresee this fight going?
This one's tough. I'm a fan of both of these guys. I'd like to see either one of them win the tournament. It'd be fine with me. I like both of them. So yeah, there's a lot to consider here. It's basically comes down to, can Belichick find a way to outsmart Tomlin before Tomlin's obvious he's half his age. So yeah. he's gonna beat the crap out of him if it comes down to just a square one-on-one fight. I think the difference between most of Belichick's previous fights and this one is that Mike Tomlin isn't just a football guy. Mike Tomlin's a smart football guy.
Those are rare.
Yes.
So I think Tomlin's he's a rare combination of being a smart football guy and a big guy, where he's gonna have the contingencies ready. He's seen Belichick's. They've been doing this together for 20 years now. He's not seeing anything he hasn't seen before, and so there's gonna be a little bit of intrigue at the beginning. You'll see Belichick, trying to do his chess moves here and there, but in the end, he falls short. If this were a coach him on the field competition, we've seen him do that before in real football, and he wins most of those. But in the Fight Club, he's gonna meet his match eventually, and I think he does here with Mike Tomlin. And as far as I'm concerned, Mike Tomlin belongs in the title fight.
Beautiful. Yeah. All right. I see what you're saying. Bethke, would you like to go to, or would you like to hit in 3 spot? You let me know.
No,
I don't care. I want to know where your head is at, where your heart is at, and where you want to select.
No, I think this is an excellent fight. I think this is one of the best fights we've ever had, and I'll happily go. So I see this fight already in progress here, because I think that there's a director's cut of this fight that could be done. But I look at this as 2 sorcerers, right? 2 elite high-level sorcerers. They've come at each other with everything they've got at this point. You know what I mean? Blow for blow. Blow for blow. Unfortunately, the wise sage knows that there is one weakness for Mike Tomlin. So these 2 sorcerers in the middle of their battle, they play a game of chicken that only a head football coach could play. Okay? But it's not with themselves. They start bringing former players and ramming them into the wall to see who will stop the fight before more concussions. Tomlin sees 2 of his guys, it's over. He quits. I have too much heart. I love my guys. Bill Belichick throws 15 more at the wall just to prove a point and wins.
Yeah, that was interesting. Interesting. I respect it, though.
There's a Zack Snyder cut. at some
I was gonna
point.
say my only counter to your bit would be I saw the season of Game of Thrones and I saw that the guys just throwing bodies after bodies are gonna lose because reasons. Um, so maybe you're just a better writer than those guys are.
Yes, absolutely. That's facts, actually. Max, if you need me, I'm here. I can help you with. You want to do winning time? Let's do the Clippers doc together. Let's talk about losing time. All right. Anyway, next.
What about it?
And that's what will be
Alrighty.
said by about everyone who watches it.
All right.
Yeah, there's some kind of joke there, but go ahead, Caesar. I'm sorry.
As a former
guys
6-time
decide this.
NFL champion, Bill Belichick comes in here, a very decorated competitor, but Mike Tomlin's no slouch, right? But he is, in this case, the challenger. So I want you guys just to imagine that Mike Tomlin comes out to the ring, right? He comes out to the ring, and his entrance music is Ain't No Mountain High Enough, because he just saw Remember the Titans.
Oh, okay.
Right?
Very
He's been
influential.
inspired.
Okay.
Very influential. He is very much inspired by that story. He comes out. The crowd is erupting. They're all for him. He is the baby face in this fight. But like Bethke, you alluded here, Belichick will throw bodies at the wall, right? So this man comes out to a very well-known song called "Let the Bodies Hit the Floor," and to boo. You just hear "Let the bodies hit the floor," and a chorus of boos rains down on Belichick as he approaches the ring. Now, you know that Mike Tomlin's no idiot. He doesn't expect a fair fight, but Bill Belichick looks him dead in the eye and he shakes that man's hand right before the bell rings. And he's like, "No, this is different. You're different." He puts his dukes up like an honorable gentleman. However, the first mistake that Mike Tomlin made was shaking that man's hand because there is a poison agent on Bill Belichick's hand. Poor Mike Tomlin starts to get a little dizzy. He goes down to a knee. And he's like, "What the fuck did you do to me?" And Bill Belichick says, "A win's a win, baby." Whips out the brass knucks, knocks him out clean.
I like that you
The
had
ref
the brass
counts to
knucks.
10. The ref counts to 10. He's not getting up. I'm sorry, Mike Tomlin, but you were just too honorable for this opponent.
This is multiple poisonings, and nobody stepped in to stop Bill Belichick at the fighting commission.
I don't know what it is, man. He just has sway. He just has sway. He gets fined a first-round pick and just says, "I'm going to keep it chugging."
In my version of events, Tomlin outsmarted these tactics.
And he thought that he was finally going to be acknowledged by Bill Belichick,
Papa.
but it just didn't happen. And unfortunately, Bill Belichick goes to another championship final.
Yeah,
It's only
now
that's what
this-
winners do.
That's what winners do. Now we go on to Arthur Smith versus Pete Carroll. Now, gentlemen, we're gonna keep the very first pick of predictions the same.
Does it?
However,
Does
I
it
will go
matter?
second and
Does it
Bethke will
matter?
go third.
Well,
Yes, it does.
doesn't matter at all what I say here.
Yes, it does. It does. Now, Patrick, I want to hear how you think this ends.
Arthur Smith's gonna beat up Pete Carroll. That's how I think it ends.
Like this.
Honestly, I think he's just got to sit on him. He's like 5 times the weight. He's probably not that much bigger, but he looks a lot bigger.
I mean,
Put him in a headlock.
He's like 200. He's over 200.
Noogie?
pounds.
a third of the age. Yeah, I think. I'm sure you're gonna find a way to ride around it, but I don't. I just don't even see how Pete Carroll even stands a chance. Maybe you say he outlasts him stamina wise, but like, I don't think Arthur Smith's just gonna be chasing him around. He's not a dullard.
He kind of looks like one though.
Arthur.
All
I think he's gonna get a hold of Pete Carroll once, and that's pretty much gonna be the end of it. Pete
So-
Carroll's a tiny, frail, old man. He's gonna actually, you know what? Here you go. Here's a scenario. Pete Carroll, they're introducing the guys. They introduce Arthur Smith first because he's younger, newer, hasn't done much. And then they introduce Pete Carroll, and he just Mitch McConnell's and loses all time and place. And then the bell rings, and Arthur Smith just
Hey, Mitch
punches
is
him
just
once
taking
and
a
it's over.
poopy.
right.
Senators are allowed to poop.
In their pants.
They are. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah,
All
senator.
right, well-
Yeah, he's a senator. Yeah.
Well, I see that you have not deviated from doubting the wise sage, the grandmaster that is Pete Carroll, but that's okay. I understand.
Yeah, sorry. I don't
And,
put a lot of faith in geriatric fighters.
Well, that's been your mistake.
You,
this
you haven't
entire-
watched enough Dragon Ball Z.
or just Dragon Ball.
Yeah,
when
or
Master
Dragon
Roshi
Ball. Yeah.
was
Well,
relevant.
Dragon Ball Master Roshi's problematic. Dragon Ball Master Roshi would not make it in 2023.
Yes,
He was
that
stealing little
is-
girls' panties.
Well,
true.
and yeah, I mean, he wasn't the only one in the show that'd be problematic. We'll say that, but I still love that show, and I like it better than Z because it's funny.
That's fair.
It's
Yeah,
all
I
about
like
the
Z just because
power
it's
of
insane.
emotions.
It's just such dude. It's
I
such
run out
it's
of-
such like prepubescent dude stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
I get
dude's
tired
rock,
head.
bro.
Yeah, Z Dragon Ball OG is like telling stories, making
Yeah.
jokes, developing characters.
Z is about let's fucking have intergalactic fights to the death.
Z is like, dude, we made this season 40 episodes long. 20 of them are fighting. That's it.
And just loading one spirit bomb.
Yeah.
The minute I heard someone talking about power levels, I was just done. I don't know if they do that in Z or if that's afterwards.
They
No, it's
do.
in Z, yeah, because they get the
That's a Z
yeah,
thing.
they get the Saiyan thing and
Scouter.
Uh,
Scouter.
his
Yeah.
power is over. What is it?
Yeah.
9,000.
9,000.
It's just arbitrary numbers being thrown
Have
at
you-
me. And
okay.
it's like I'm old enough at that point to not just be like, oh my god, it's not like I'm a 4-year-old watching Power Rangers anymore.
But you have
know? I
seen
don't know.
Dragon Ball Abridged, right?
Oh, that's so good. That is so fucking good.
I never watched it. That's
You
is that
should.
You should do that
Kai
right
or-
away.
Is
It's
it
on
Bridge
YouTube.
Kai?
Yeah, it's just a bridge.
No,
it's,
they did.
it's
They
like
did
a
all of
proper
it. But I think
comedy.
Z. Z is they did mostly Z, and Z
So-
it's so funny,
Okay.
bro.
What was Kai?
They-
was
they-
Kai just like
So
a remake of
Kai-
Z?
Kai was a reworking of Z
Yeah,
to
Kai
get
was
rid of the
bullshit.
filler. It's just to
Yeah,
get rid of the
okay.
filler arcs.
I could get
Because that's
I could
a-
get into some of that too.
I could get into
like
the workings of the anime
too many
making schedule,
episodes.
but that would take too much time. So just
Yeah.
Kai was just a reworking to get rid of the filler.
But Abridged should be a part of the canon because that shit is funny as hell, and it's
peak.
like comedy that is you can tell made by a diehard fan because it's accurate as fucking nuts. Like Trunks is one of my favorite characters in Dragon Ball Abridged. It is.
Awesome.
He doesn't come in a lot, but every time he
Trunks
does, it's the same bit,
Vegeta's son?
and it's always funny. Yeah. So you don't even really know the whole. Yeah, it's funny, dude. I'm not gonna lie. If you kind of have to watch Z though to get all the jokes because they just really.
Oh
like,
yeah, I'm sure.
they make all the jokes awesome. Like they make Goku an absolute. They make him basically Homer Simpson.
yeah,
Yes.
I've heard. I've heard.
But
I've seen
like,
the memes about the
At some point, he
flanderizing
does
of-
become self-aware.
Yeah, he does become self-aware of this show. I need to show my girlfriend Dragon Ball Bridge. She'd love that shit.
There you go.
But anyway,
Anyway, let's continue.
um,
I will hit
yeah.
second on this one, fellas.
Okay, go for it.
So this scenario is actually kind of inspired by a previous scenario that Bethke you brought up long ago. Whenever the Cleveland head coach had to fight Mike Tomlin, I don't think,
We're getting
gentlemen, that
litigious?
Yeah, I was gonna say, was that the lawyer guy?
yeah, but I don't think necessarily that lawyers are involved, but rather the authorities. That's right. Listen, once I found out that Arthur Smith is the son of a billionaire, I knew that there was something fishy about this.
You got hit with the Rico?
That's right. As the competitors make their way to the field of battle, the authorities come charging in and take down Arthur Smith, slapping him with a RICO charge.
Is it Fulton County? Are they going 3 for 3 this year?
They're going 3 for 3. He's being tried because he was bankrolling the
third.
January 6th incident. And with that, it is unfortunate, but Arthur Smith is disqualified from head coach Fight Club. Pete Carroll miraculously makes it onto the final against Bill Belichick.
I haven't even gone yet.
What's up?
I haven't even gone yet.
What do you mean?
That he's just giving you his scenario.
Oh, okay.
Oh, no.
Okay.
Yeah,
I
in
thought
this
I
scenario.
thought you just announced that he advanced.
No, and just
I
in
mean,
this
he might as
scenario,
well
he would
have.
go against Bill Belichick because, of course, Arthur Smith is too busy wrapping up his RICO charges. Yeah, so that's how I think this would end.
Get a good lawyer hiding the money that's left. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
I feel you. I appreciate they used the rich person route. I also agreed that was the appropriate way to look at this. For me, though, I really thought that you're getting into the fight here because at this point, Pete Carroll, at this point, he's got all the confidence in the world. He's been able to handle everybody effortlessly with all his maneuvers and tricks, fighting back and forth. I mean, he's got the exploding heart technique. How many times has he already used it?
Used it
Krav
like
Maga. I think there was some Krav Maga at one point. All that's really impressive. But what most people don't know about Arthur Smith is that he lost his family at a young age, and it took a toll on him. So he moved out into Antarctica and started studying with the League of Shadows.
Wait a minute. The son of a billionaire lost his family?
And he came back.
No.
And he vowed to avenge
Is he Batman?
any wrongdoings. And so as he was fighting,
Fuck. This is not how I pictured this going.
Pete Carroll gets his own exploding heart technique blocked and replaced with one of Arthur Smith's own because he learned the same from his journeys around the world learning martial arts in his younger days.
God damn it.
On his dead parents' dime. Arthur Smith advances.
Fuck. I really thought you would be on. I thought we'd be on the same page with geriatric fights. God damn it.
I've never had an agenda this whole time. Only chaos.
I think I shamed him out of putting Pete Carroll.
Oh no, that was premeditated.
Do you know how?
I was
Do you know how
premeditating
pissed the
that
networks would be?
This really
if Arthur
ruins
Smith
the
beat
this
Pete Carroll?
listen. I was really banking on Becky being on the page with me, like just like us not having like a verbal like understanding, just kind of like we just felt the vibe. Because I had a great ending for the potential of Bill Belichick versus Pete Carroll, but we'll never see the light of day.
Oh,
No,
This is like
Chaos
if
is
you had
necessary.
the
This would've
Bucks
been
and
very
Celtics
chaotic, sir.
in the East playing against like the Lakers and the Spurs, and like the Lakers won, and then the Bucks won, and the NBA is like, God damn it!
Yeah,
Or-
no, that's exactly. I had actually written up the scenario
we
of
had
the
our
final
chance.
fight
the
between
Bucks-
what I assumed was going to be Pete Carroll versus.
You're
Bill
talking about the Bucks Suns series we got.
Yeah, well, at least, but on our side, we have at least one of the big names with Bill
That's true.
Belichick.
That's true.
Because Belichick versus
yeah.
Carroll is probably the ideal final fight if we weren't going to get like Dan Campbell in there just to.
Really, what you're talking
Thank
about
you.
is Detroit versus San Antonio. An all-time great NBA Finals that only maybe like me and Spurs and Piston fans appreciate.
I do want to take a brief aside here as I'm looking at Arthur Smith's dad's Wikipedia page. There's a lot. There's a lot to learn about not only his dad but his grandfather as well. So
Problematic?
No, I actually don't know. There's just
I met
a lot going on. Just
Nobody that makes billionaire status does it without some kind of problems down.
Well, I'm not seeing any nothing that's caught my eye so far. It's just like the stuff where he started FedEx. His father, the grandfather, ran a restaurant chain and a motor coach company that at least got bought out by Greyhound at some point. So yeah, the family's been doing pretty well.
All right.
Honestly, I'm not gonna lie. Arthur Smith looks like he's related to a former president. He looks like a photo
Arthur
of a.
Smith's father was in Skull and Bones. He was a friend and frat brother of a guy you might have heard of called George W. Bush.
Oh.
Oh, but he was also friends with John Kerry.
Yes, which
All
that's
right.
not the.
That's two different sides.
No, it's not.
Well,
The same.
Not when you're that rich.
The same reason you got. Yeah.
well,
like the
you got to
same-
remember,
same
John
reason you
Kerry
got-
snitched on America, and that's how he lost the presidential vote.
He flip flopped.
Republicans found out that he snitched, and they ran with it.
Oh, word. All right.
Well,
Let's
needless
get
to
back
say,
on track.
what I wanted to say was that we should probably, and maybe I'll do it on my own and present it in some kind of format, a deep dive on the Smith family, because it sounds like they're kind of a backbone of the U.S. a little bit.
Yeah, no, this dude's definitely descended from a United States president. Like, if you look at Arthur Smith's picture on Wikipedia, that looks like somebody modernized a president's photo.
All right. Well, next week, I'm just gonna go ahead and let the listenership know. I will present to you what my final scenario was, because I actually spent a good amount of time writing this fight choreography and everything of what would have been Bill Belichick versus Pete Carroll. Actually, I'm gonna send that to Patrick to release as a bonus content.
Yeah, I like that.
That's a what
Alternate
if.
reality.
Alternate reality. But anyway, let's while I don't have the wind into my sails anymore, let's just go ahead and pass this one off to Patrick. I don't have anything witty to say. I need to buy some time as I contemplate how this will end.
Patrick, we gotta talk about the Rangers again, bro. I don't know what to say. He said
I'm
it.
confused.
No, that's not what I said. Let's wrap up the final, baby. We have Bill Belichick versus Arthur Smith.
I got real confused there for a second. Ladies and gentlemen, Arthur Smith versus Bill Belichick.
Revenge
Okay,
of the
I'll go ahead and go
Falcons.
first. Yeah, good luck. Wow, I wasn't expecting this fight. So yeah, we're all stuck thinking about this for a minute. Because I thought hard about the Final Four and then forgot that I would have to think about potential finals. Yeah, man. This might just be. Okay. Okay, here we go. Bill Belichick, Arthur Smith, they're in the ring. Pre-fight when they're doing kind of, everyone's getting their like Vaseline eyebrows for whatever reason. Someone's slapping their like face cheeks and their butt cheeks at the same time. Some referees checking their wrists for stuff. Because there's been a lot of deaths surrounding Bill Belichick in this tournament. So while they're doing all that, Belichick pulls out a piece of chalk. He starts drawing a circle around him, and within that circle draws a pentagram and puts candles on each point and lights them and starts chanting something in a language that you would think might be Latin, but you're not sure because none of us know. It's something like that.
Like pig Latin?
It's definitely more like dead languagey, and less annoying toddlery. And he just starts doing this chant, and there's kind of a slow smoke creeping in, and it's getting dark, and the place kind of like everyone starts realizing it slowly. It's falling quiet piece by piece, not all at once. But eventually it's really quiet, and all anyone can hear is down in the center is Bill Belichick doing this chant as the smoke comes in and in and in and in. And Arthur Smith all of a sudden goes pale. And you see a spirit coming down, and it enters Arthur Smith's body. And Belichick says it's time. It's finally time.
Holy shit. And
so Belichick and this possessed body of Arthur Smith are just going at it. It's epic. It's the peak of every anime you've ever seen. Flashing lights, hard cuts, people in the crowd going, "Whoa!" That kind of thing. And eventually, the dust settles, the fight's over, and Bill Belichick's holding the severed head of Arthur Smith, and you see the spirit come out of him, and people start realizing as they look at the spirit, it's Bill Walsh, and Bill Belichick set this up to prove once and for all he is the GOAT by murdering the spirit of Bill Walsh inside of Arthur Smith.
Amazing. That is
Shit.
all right. That's a good. That's honestly one of the best things
Fuck.
ever said in this
I
entire
think that's
segment.
the longest I've ever drawn one of those out.
I applaud you. You went big for the final fight, and as you should. As you should. That is one of the most beautiful things you've ever said on this.
Had
podcast.
to get the GOAT. Had to get the GOAT another championship. You know. What do you got? What do you guys think?
I like that. I like your scenario. And just because I made the mistake last time of letting Becky go second, I will go second. Just so I have some. Or was it second? No, it was third. Yeah, he went third. It wasn't a mistake. Yeah. Anyway, well, actually, you know what? I'm gonna let Becky go second.
No, go ahead. I think
No,
that
no.
you have more than earned the ability.
As since this is my baby, I will. I want to have the last word on it. Now that I think about it.
Well,
You're also setting up to where your word might not mean anything,
and that's fine. But I still want to present my final scenario.
I like that.
What if I say that this fight blew up into quite a situation, right? We're talking massive buildings exploding. We're shooting all kinds of projectiles at each other. We're talking legendary superpowers here. And it ends seemingly with Arthur Smith dead at the hands of Bill Belichick, who has stolen his machete, seemingly won the fight, although one arm is missing now because the machete that Arthur Smith previously had has cut that off. But nevertheless, out of the water arises Arthur Smith, and he cuts off the head of Bill Belichick.
Is this a Jason versus Freddy?
Jesus.
A Freddy versus Jason?
That was.
That's how the end of Freddy versus Jason went.
I have not seen that one.
But just as we think Arthur Smith has won, he's holding the head up of a decapitated Bill Belichick. It winks in the camera.
Are you
Who
calling
really
this,
won the fight?
Are you calling this fight a draw?
Interesting. I think he's trying to leave it
Open-ended.
I don't know.
It's up to the viewer.
I don't know how I feel about the play. You're the fight commissioner, Cesar. So,
hey, just like the audience of that particular film, which stole my idea years prior, it is ambiguous.
It's ambiguous.
I'm pretty sure we can say Arthur Smith won. But was Bill Belichick really dead? Is it a blow? Is the death the final victory here? Is it just a win?
Well, I hear what both of you have said, and I think I have a scenario to present to you guys. All right. So, as our combatants make their way to the ring, Arthur Smith goes in first. He gets patted down by the ref. Checked. See, any weapons. The entire event staff has looked under the ring to see if there is any foul play involved, or are there any traps, trinkets, anything that could be used in this fight. They find nothing. Bill Belichick comes down to the ring. Same entrance music as last time. Let the bodies hit the floor.
ooh,
Thank you. But this time, On his way to the ring, he passes
Wait,
through.
is that the one that starts off with the oh wow?
Oh no, I think that's by like Nine Inch
The
Nails.
Sickness by Disturbed.
Oh, by Disturbed. There you go.
Okay.
Sorry. Anyway, but on his way to the entrance, very curiously, he goes through TSA security, and y'all know that little tube that you got to go through. You put your arms up, and then there's a little, a little thing that takes a 360 photo
And
of
I'm
you.
like, please
X-ray?
don't look for the weed pen in my nutsack.
Yes. He goes through multiple kinds of those. The CIA, the FBI, they all, because they want a fair fight, have gotten involved and have checked to see if there's any weapons, any poison. They do not want this fight to end in any kind of way. Now, this fight naturally will take place in Jerry World, because Jerry wants the greatest spectacle known in fighting history, and that is the Head Coach Fight Club. Bill Belichick has been patted down, searched thoroughly. He's kind of forced into fighting a fair fight. Here's what the crowd doesn't know: that there is brass knucks inside the trunks of the referee who has been paid off way before. Now, here's what's going to happen. Arthur Smith is swinging, and he is getting good licks in on Bill Belichick, but Bill Belichick throws the ref in front of Arthur Smith. Arthur Smith and the ref collide, and they are just arguing about, hey, what the fuck are you doing? You're in my way. Little does he know that Bill Belichick reaches inside the back of the trunks. Yeah, that's right. The brass knucks were in the back door of the ref. He reaches into that man's ass,
Ayo.
gets the brass knucks. But fellas, somebody has had enough of Bill Belichick. And this wouldn't be a
Someone
DFW.
poisoned the butthole?
Nope. Gentlemen, this wouldn't be a DFW podcast if I didn't reference one of the greatest tragedies in American history. In the Raptors, with a man loaded with a sniper, he takes out Bill Belichick. And as the camera pans to see who it is Tom Brady. He will not allow this man to win another ring. Not if he's involved. That's right. Interfering in this fight is Tom Brady, who has assassinated Bill Belichick. Arthur Smith wins. He is the winner of the Head Coach Fight Club.
In this reality, who kills Tom Brady?
Giselle.
And
He
could
doesn't-
the second gunman be could it be Josh McDaniels?
It's actually Robert Kraft.
Trying to think of who would. No, Rex Ryan. Rex Ryan's the second gunman.
So who won?
Arthur Smith, baby. He's alive, isn't he?
Did he?
How could Bill Belichick continue to fight with a bullet in his head? I'm sorry, he's dead.
I understand who won in your scenario.
In my scenario. And then in Bethke's scenario, he allowed the commission to make a decision based on the ambiguity of said fight. Therefore, the commission has ruled
Rigged.
that 2 out of 3,
Arthur Smith bought it.
Arthur Smith is the winner.
Just like America, the rich guy bought the election. Well, goddamn.
And as the camera pans out, as Tom Brady's being carried away by the authorities, his phone falls out, and you see a deposit that has been sent through. It was delivered by FedEx. FedEx delivered the win through Tom Brady, baby.
And then Giselle shot him, right?
Yes.
In order of the canonical event here.
Yes, indeed. And that's how.
Is this the
fighting
part where I
ends.
point out that when me and Cesar went to the Mavericks game, we sat in the FedEx suite?
Yes, this is also where.
Ooh, insider knowledge.
Indeed.
Ooh.
Well, gentlemen, a brief recap on the run Arthur Smith made to get here. Your champion Honestly, if you had me handicap it, he would have been in the bottom 5 for me from the start of guys who would win this.
Probably
Mostly
bottom
just 'cause
10.
I didn't know anything about him. So round 1, as the 4 seed in his own division, thanks to their record last year,
Oh, right.
Arthur Smith beats Todd Bowles. And then in the NFC South Division Finals, Arthur Smith beats Dennis Allen to head to the conference semifinals, where he took on. Anybody remember this at all?
I think I'm forgetting.
McCarthy?
Pete Carroll.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Duh.
And
I didn't
he
remember.
beat Pete Carroll in that fight, which landed him in the top 8, and then we ranked 1 through 8, and then 9 through 16. So we gave Arthur Smith the 3 seed, which slotted him against Jonathan Gannon. I think he made pretty quick work of Jonathan Gannon, if I remember correctly. And then that moved him against Bethke's man, Mike McCarthy. Battle of the Bigs, which for McCarthy was the 2nd straight Battle of the Bigs. He's done a lot of Battle of the Bigs because he's a big.
Mm-hmm.
Smith won that, and then we got into tonight where he took on Carroll and Belichick, and that's quite a run from Todd Bowles to Bill Belichick.
3 of the greatest coaches of all time.
Yeah, and Pete
All right.
Carroll.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Gentlemen, this has been a great segment for us to have worked on for all these weeks now.
And I think it'll end well because everyone's going to be predicting us to just continue the way we were. And then they're just right at the end.
I came in today fully expecting to have to announce Pete Carroll as the winner.
Oh, no. So, spoiler alert. Spoiler alert. The winner in my scenario, and you'll get to hear it whenever I send the audio file to you. But it was going to be Bill Belichick. It was going to involve a lot of shenanigans between 2 old men. It was going to be a wild fight. And you'll hear it whenever I get around to sending it.
It's beautiful.
Shenanigans between 2 old men sounds like a euphemism.
Mm-hmm. About my balls.
Well, congratulations, Arthur Smith.
You are the one and only head coach Fight Club champion.
This was fun. I'm really glad you came up with this bit.
Thank you.
I'm excited to do it again with the knowledge of now that we know how it works.
Yeah.
Nobody really knows how it works, but it does. It just
I also feel like
that's part of it.
I also feel like this is only something you can do with the NFL. NHL, those guys aren't as intimidating as their players, so it's not as fun. They're mean, but they look, what I mean? They're all so cute and buttoned up.
They don't have as varying of personalities for sure.
NBA would not be fun.
Former hockey guys. NBA,
it's just a lot of weird. You got little bitty short fat dudes. You got big skinny guys. You got a lot of ex-athletes too in that one. A little unfair. MLB, interesting, but they already do that themselves. Like that's just how the MLB works. So like, you just wait long enough, you might actually see those dudes spar off on each other.
And the beauty is you can expect about 4 to 6 new competitors every season.
True. That's a lot of turnover.
Yeah.
There's a lot of turnover in the Fight Club. So who knows? This year's champion may not even get to defend his own title if things don't go well for him. So.
It's true. That's true.
It's true. So,
but that's our problem for next year.
That is.
Hey, I mean, he can go out undefeated.
He could. But with all that said, gentlemen, that does it for this segment. We've ran a little long, but I think it was well worth it.
Now we actually have to watch football.
And yes, sir. Even though I think next week we will be doing a preview of the first game of the season, the AFC predictions.
I will give a full roster breakdown of the Dallas Cowboys practice squad.
I'll hold you to it.
I will fall asleep during that.
That would be the 3rd time.
No, this one will be intentional.
Oh, okay. Fair enough.
Look,
Well, now I see why you fell asleep. You're on your bed half the episode.
Both of those were in chairs
Oh,
at my desk.
well, never mind. I take that back. I sit corrected.
look, we're gonna talk Sean McKeon football.
All right.
All right, gentlemen. Well, just kidding. No, it's been fun.
All right.
Probably get out of here. Hope everyone enjoys whatever the video product that comes out will be. Forgive my lack of video editing skills, and
We'll see you next
we'll
time.
talk to you all next week.
Deuces. Follow,
Later.
like, and subscribe, and all that other good shit. Ring the bell, all that shit. All the shit that you hear YouTubers say so much you're annoyed of it, do it.
Smash
Do
it. Smash it.
Smash it.
Okay.
All right.
Later.
Deuces, guys.
That concludes this week's Pass the Rock. Thank you for listening, and as always, subscribe, like, love, share, heart, X, repost, retweet, requote, tattoo yourself, buy a poster, make your own t-shirt. If you want me to make you a t-shirt, I will. Just ask.
This is Pass the Rock.
Well, bye. Adjourn your asses.
I think you've had enough. No? Now you've had enough. Bitch.
I'm going to put in production for this, the final. Right here, there's going to be production for the final.